Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Smite Challenger Circuit. Now, taking a trip over to North America. My name's Gormizer. That over there is going to be Mifflin. And we're going to be taking you through the region, of course, looking for the top three teams, I believe, that immediately get to move on to their playoffs. And then, of course, whoever number 4 is, we'll figure that out. And we'll be in a wild card matchup that they're going to have to deal with. Of course, it's going to be the first match for North America. It's the Tiburones de Tijuana going up against the Herculean Hoofs is what we have for you today. As we take a peek see at the schedule, the next two matches are going to be here in North America. Sleekness and Sturdy Artisans a little later today. Then we'll go back here on Saturday for Winter Dogs and Average Joes. Friday and Sunday, you can catch the other European matchups that haven't happened. Here are your standings for North America, which are all very important. You can specifically see, I think, ever more important there for Sturdy Artisans and Sleekness. But also, if the Tiburones cause a little bit of an upset, whoever wins that Sturdy Artisan Sleekness, then you get some head-to-head matchups, things with the Herculean Hoofs, tiebreakers, all that good fun stuff. So maybe a better must-win for the Herculean Hoofs if they want to keep their seeding.
Yeah, I think the Hoofs really do want to find a win here, man. The path of least resistance is always so valuable going into the land phase, and how do you acquire that path? It's high seeding, and the Herculean Hoofs, no stranger to Smite competitive. I think they know exactly what their goal is.
I thought you were going to say no stranger to high seeding. Like they just know. They go in and they frag, baby. That's all they do. I will say the Tiburones de Tijuana, unfortunate slip-up so far this phase. I think the very beginning of it didn't start the way they wanted it to, but the last few weeks have definitely been shaping up a lot more for this team as a whole. They've been able to get things together, and despite not getting all of the wins they would want, this is a team that can and could upset the Herculean Hoofs.
Yeah, I think in 8.9 especially, this is a patch that really does favor how the Sharks like to play. I mean, Cope really does like going towards these traditional assassins. Good luck finding a clip of him playing a warrior. He's playing the things like Loki, the Thanatos of the world. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something like a Hunbots or something along those lines. And they really like to play through his early game aggression to facilitate late game hyper carries through mid. I didn't plan this score. We just happen to have some mid lane clips up next. Look, they go for things like the Morrigan. I mean, they'll go towards the Tiamat as well. And so it's early bridge picks inside of the jungle for late game hyper carries out of mid, which is, kind of generally how Smite is played in the olden days.
And realistically, I think it was last week when we were watching this team, there was a lot of, hey, I'm going to play Bastet, and Cope has done a lot. Cope has great Thanatos, a Wheelish. His Bastet was a little quiet compared to the Bastet that was coming out of the mid lane, which was ridiculous to me. The amount of damage they had just felt like too much. So a really good team here that they are, but of course taking on a team that is number 2 in the standings for a reason, the Herculean Hoofs on the other side. A team that has not really shied away. Again, last week, I think it was the Hoofs, like a little bit of a tumble in Game 1, and then a very decisive Game 2 and Game 3. And this is a team that, I mean, as you had highlighted, they've just got so much competitive history behind them.
Snoopy, Baskin, Gino, Blugan, and Meerkat. We'll just mic drop right there, because that's all you really need to say. All these guys have got illustrious careers. All of them have got great SPL talent behind them, and they've been doing very well here in the SCC. In particular, can't talk about this squad without bringing up Baskin, who used to be the titular Baskin when they were going by Baskin and the Boys. I mean, I say it every time we cast him, but we are so lucky that this man is chasing like a degree instead of some more world championship rings.
Because he'd do it, and we all know it. And last week, I believe they had to play with Blugan in mid, which was definitely a little bit of a change-up for them. But not necessarily a detriment. They played really well. Again, despite a little slip-up in game number 1, things really clicked together for them. I'm also really excited. Thinking about it, we've talked about it a lot, but Snoopy has just kind of been playing Smite. He's just good at the game.
Just good at Smite?
He's been doing it for a really, really long time as well. So it's always a pleasure to be able to watch them. Duo lane going to be difficult, but you can see pressure in the jungle. Cope's going to have to deal with that here. And as you had mentioned, mid lane, as important as it is, feels like there's going to be a lot of pressure in this matchup between the two of them. And that makes things a little more contested, I think, when we move forward to things like picks and bans, because all of a sudden your Raigens, your Tiamats, the Morrigans, your another mage here that's really, really strong right now, Persephone, who we haven't actually seen in a little while. But,
Yanis.
Yanis. Yeah, actually, Yanis,
Scylla.
for real. Because we've seen so many of the cool portals that you can have. It'll all matter here. We'll see what the bans are going to be. Things have shifted up a lot in the SPL, but we'll have to see if 8.9 here for the SCC, especially in their last week, have taken note. Artemis is the first ban. I'm going to say no. That's a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of fallen by the wayside, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Like the SPL
people
is
forgot her.
We're ignoring her. Yo, Odysseus bow got a nerf. A lot of attack speed was stripped from a ton of items, so Silver Branch builds don't feel as good. So Artemis doesn't feel as good, and she's kind of fallen out of the meta. But the Sharks...
She was only there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, dude, and they immediately nerfed all the bows. Feels bad to be a hunter. What
No,
do you use? That man's Twitter? What
I don't.
is this?
Doesn't feel bad to be a hunter. Feels bad to be Artemis. She gets to show up for the first time in like 6 years, and she's like, "I'm powerful, I'm strong," and then 3 weeks later, it's like, "All right, okay, go away again, bye bye."
Who wants to get hit by Tusky, man? It's not fun. You're getting ganked by an ability, bro. It's not fair. Yamoja and Capri gonna get banned out now. The Sharks taking out the Water Goddess, and the Hoofs taking out the Solar Scarab's like mascot. So. What does that mean? Well, it seems like they've adapted pretty well to this new 8.9 support meta.
Do you not know what Kepri's the god of? Sorry, I'm trying to
He's the
stay
god
on track.
of bugs and suns. I don't know, man.
Yeah, sun. There you go.
Yeah,
That's all you
it.
need to know.
Well, isn't that Ra?
Wait, what is Kepri the god of? Hold on, now I
Yeah.
don't know. Look, now I'm second guessing it. I'll figure it out. So they ban out the Terra as well. A lot of Guardians. That's actually been the shift that we've really seen lately, which is just Guardians on Guardians on Guardians galore for the bans. That's only 3, so that's fine. If they continue going that route, though, Tiburones are going to find themselves reaching a little further down the pocket. I know David talked about it a little in the last set, but like Fafnir's have had to start coming out again, not necessarily because he's risen in the tier list, but because there's not much else for you afterward when the scraps are taken care of. Serket, as well as Odin, are going to be the bans here. So the Tiburones, Tiamat's still available, a lot that is on the board.
Yeah, Geb's still out there if we're talking about Guardians. Uhl has been a standout god inside of the Hunter role and is going to get locked in here by the Sharks. Has flex potential both into mid and into ADC more often than not. We see him headed over into the long lane, Transcendence Crusher, Brawler Speed Stick. Just that standard new ability Hunter build seems to be the flavor. This is surprising. I think Sylvanas is really good. I mean, Aggro did a great job in the last set kind of bringing up the fact that with Lotus Crown and with the inherent protections built into Wisps that you kind of turn everybody around you into a tank when you build that item, as well as just having sustain is very nice. But for my money, I still think Geb probably brings a little bit more into the team fight, which is why it's a little bit curious to me to see him fall by the wayside, and probably the Sharks are going to take it.
I've got 2 things. One follow-up on that, but before I get to that, with the rising morning sun for Kepri, so he's like he's time gated in the morning. Sylvanas though, and I'm trying to bring this up just to double check on myself, but Sylvanas, if I remember from yesterday, at least in phase 3, every game that he has been first picked, which admittedly there was like 4 or something like that, he's lost them all. Like you said, Geb has definitely held a little bit more of a precedent over it. Uller Geb as a combo, add the Morgan into that.
Not bad.
Could be a really, really good pickup here for the Tiburones if they want to go ahead and grab him before, well, what I imagine would be the inevitable Geb ban. Yeah, they're going to scoop that up. That feels like a really, really good top 3.
Yeah, it's not bad whatsoever. Uhl plus Geb, you're probably not doing too much insofar as lane pressure. You got decent kill pressure once level 5 ticks over and Cataclysm becomes available, but until then, Sylvanas with AoE auto attacks matched with whatever Hunter the Hoofs elect to go for will likely find lane pressure. So I imagine the Sharks try and pick an early game jungler on the other side. The Morgan as well, just kind of late game slanted, doesn't really have the best early presence, especially against a god like Raijin, who's got great matchup. Raiju knocks you out of stealth. You're not really allowed to play aggressive on the Morgan until you've got decent one-shot potential or even the Changeling ultimate. So, as of right now, I'd say the Hoofs, they've got an advantage for at least the first 10 or so minutes of the game.
And that Nike is the one that it's a coin flip. We've seen Nike plenty of times right now flexing into solo lane, having no issues doing that. Also, majority played in the jungle. And it seems like the Tiburones are going to try to narrow their bans a little more specifically, not try to ban out either Warriors or Assassins, at least so far, get rid of the Heimdall, since they know that they're going to have to deal with some sort of carry on the other side. Snoopy's just kind of been deadly with a lot of stuff. It's the Tsukiyomi and the Thanatos on the other side. And he does just play. Izanami's available. I know that's like not only just been in the meta recently, but also feels like a favorite for Snoopy. I think we saw that in some of the highlights. And we have a Cupid ban that comes through instead, which probably just deals with the matchup for Uller, huh?
It does, but Naja
hello.
getting locked in. The Hoofs bringing something spicier. Maybe I should say Mast bringing something a little bit spicy here today. Generally, when you go towards Naja, that Windfire Wheels is a setup tool. You're building it just so you can have, I don't know, like Spirit of the Nine Winds, Searing Pain, a Kraken get dropped in. But instead, I'm just getting this in from production. It's actually going to be Baskin playing inside of the jungle. And I don't know why, but I'm getting a little bit more chills, right? Like, sure, Baskin's been playing, like, solo lane and mid competitively for so long, but, like, Baskin in the jungle, I don't know. Could be pretty sick.
Could be. I'm excited to watch what this setup is going to be like now, because I don't, like you said, I'm not sure I've ever seen Baskin play in the jungle. Like, look,
Me
ranked maybe exists, maybe it's happened. It definitely is not like no practice. But that's gonna make things interesting. Hercules and King Arthur get locked in here. Have fun with that.
So, if I
Hercules
had to
jungle?
guess, let me go ahead and look one more time. There is potential that we've got like some really weird stuff like Geb solo, but it's likely Hercules jungle if I had to guess. Your Hunter probably on the other side from the Hoofs is going to be set.
Yeah.
If Cycle and Spin's been any indicator. Both these teams bringing a little bit of a weirdness into this one. The Hoofs with their sub now, and both teams with their composition, both very strange. I'm giving the advantage over the Hoofs, though. I mean, they've got a standard AoE mage, and that's enough. That's enough for me to give them the edge.
They've got healing, too. Well, that's nice. Although Geb Shield, yeah, you know what? They've got a standard AoE mage. Maybe that is all that separates it. We'll see if that's going to be enough to get them game number 1 here as they hold on, or try to hold on, to their second seed as best they can up against the Tiburones. A lot of pressure, I want to say, to make these picks work. Cope is playing the Hercules. And you remember, and look, I'm sorry to throw you under the bus, Mifflin, but like a few minutes ago when we were talking about Cope specifically, and I think the exact phrase was, you don't see this guy playing Warriors in the jungle.
Hey, man.
Of course he had to do it game number 1, huh?
He's got to be listening to the cast. This guy, he's just trying to make me look bad, but maybe he'll make Hercules look a little bit better. Worth noting, actually going for the Mannequin Scepter inside of that first slot, so this is a slightly auto-attack slanted Hercules. It makes sense. You're able to, I don't know, blink in, land an auto-attack, driving strike, land at least one more auto-attack. You're getting pretty decent procs from the passive there. Cope's actually got some pretty legitimate early game pressure.
You know, there's not a lot of, like melee autos that feel really good in Smite. I think Hercules is up on that,
specifically
like, top
this
5.
skin.
This skin, yeah, it has to be the skin. Just the bonks, the smacks just feel so visceral. And a lot of the, just, I guess, hits. That's the only way to describe them. It's always fun, good knockups, good pushbacks, good CC. And it's not unheard of to see Hercules jungle. Just hasn't been in Season 8.
No, but you could say the same thing of
Season
Naja,
7.
right? Like on the other side, it's not
True.
super common that we're seeing that. Maybe a little bit more so as Captain Twig did play it for a little bit towards the beginning of the year, but I'm excited to see what Cope is capable of doing. I mean, Hercules jungle by no means is out of left field. It's got great gank presence. It's got good setup for your team. The burst damage also legitimately pretty strong, so Hercules is going to work out just fine. It's more so a concern around, for the Sharks, how well they're able to utilize this Hercules to kind of transition themselves into the late game.
I'm still looking for some of that early game to see if we're going to get any cool knockups. It's going to be difficult to control. I mean, Naja doesn't have good getaway, although CC and the ult later is always going to be helpful for disengage, although not exactly how you'd want to use it. But this is where Cope can really start to shine. A good pushback Baskin is going to eat a lot of damage. We'll get the return stun, and they're going to go 1 for 1, but the first blood goes over to Cope. Clean kills as they set that up, and now Gino seems to be a little out of position. Snoopy's rotating in. They've got some damage, they've got some healing, and they're trying to turn it around. Bluegin's in the jungle. It seems like they're going to call this one as a wash and walk away.
Yeah, you do not want to fight a set at level 2 inside the jungle when he's getting healed by Sylvanas, right? Not only is he getting protections, but he's also out DPSing inside of that fight, so it makes sense to me that the Sharks kind of say, maybe we don't take this engagement. Sure, we've got Gino isolated for a moment, but not enough so to feel confident in taking that fight. And that's let that be a lesson to anyone who thinks they could take a 2v2 up against Naja inside the jungle when no camps are around. Ring toss post-mortem, returning the kill onto Cope. So at the end of the day, I'd say net neutral, only about 200 gold separating them.
Well, this is where you can have Cope get a little more aggressive. Meerkat just needs one hit. There's a knockup. Whether or not they were going to chase the autos doesn't matter because the follow-through from Cope is going to be there. Yeah, Hercules doing a lot already.
Yeah, he really is, man. And it's not going to slow down at any point. I mean, once we're about 2 or 3 items in, that's really where Hercules' damage is going to start to hit its stride, and then eventually he's going to have to transition himself, I think, a little bit more so towards that bruiser build. But as of right now, Cope, probably the strongest person on the map, and I don't imagine that changes for at least another 5 or so minutes.
Gino gets smacked around a little bit here. Spreen, luckily stealth right there. Baskin's not playing patiently in a way. Like, he wants to fight.
Does he
ever? You can feel it. Good point. I don't know that there's ever a slowdown. Definitely looking for a little bit more. We'll be able to get themselves the mid camps over there on right. I mean, this is exactly what I expect. Jeez Louise, the damage that Snoopy is able to put out. Just in the blink of an eye there on the Rinjaro. That's kind of how I expect this game to go right now, is just, hey, here's some poking thrown back, unless Cope is really the driving force. I don't know that the Tiburones have a lot of fight back.
No, I mean, King Arthur inside of the solo lane should be able to hold his own for the most part of Spreen, getting aggressive in mid, able to force the beads off Blugan.
Yeah, Blugan's going to dash back, but also getting aggressive. Meerkat right now inside the blue buff, looking to get controlled by Heed. Now the damage is followed up. Cope is there. Sentinel of Zeus gives him the shield, but is it going to be enough? The Boulder gets the double tap as well. Cope gets exactly what he would want there. Meerkat bites off way more than he can chew.
Yeah, we're looking at a little bit of a jungle gap right now, aren't we? Cope getting involved all the way around the map, barring the duo lane. He's been controlling the mid and the solo for the most part. 3 kills in as many minutes for the Sharks jungler. So, as of right now, Hercules maybe spending a little bit more time ganking, should be putting his lanes ahead. Heed should be benefiting in particular. We can see already a level lead for Spreen inside of mid, but because he's spending so much time getting proactive inside these lanes, he's spending a lot less time farming inside of the jungle. So Baskin has largely been able to maintain even state with this Hercules.
Yeah, keeping things as close as possible here. And you can see trying to clear up any buffs that they have. I'm watching specifically where Baskin's going to go. We've seen so much Hercules, and outside of the first blood fight, not a lot of Naja. Well, I guess there's also a little bit of hunting for a stealth Spreen. Didn't find it then, hadn't found it since. And we haven't seen any pressure, you would highlight, not just from Hercules, but from Naja, anybody in the duo lane, except for Snoopy, who just seems to be able to fight whatever. And I think that might be part of why Snoopy's not worried about it as of right now. Blugan laying up a little bit of an ambush, and it seems like they're just going to have to play it ever so patiently. Now that Geb's here, Naja, I think their job becomes harder.
Yeah, it's so hard for Naja to play into Geb. It'll be hard for Blugan to play into it either.
Oh my
Immediately
God!
removed from the map. Cataclysm and a blink driving strike from Hercules, and that's all it really took there. Baskin got to watch on in horror from the side of the jungle as his mid laner is removed. And the Herculean Hoofs, they're down about 1,000 gold at this point. The Sharks completely dictating the pace of this one.
Probably happy that they were able to pull so much away from the Tiburones, but not so happy that you still die at the end of it. I mean, at the end of the day, they get a kill, you don't have one. 4-1, just under 6 minutes into this game. But you were talking earlier, you saying that the Tiburones, you were a little more worried. Was it their late game as they kind of transition, or do they?
I was worried about the early
keep it up
game.
this pace. The early game.
Yeah,
so
I was concerned.
They're good.
Yeah, they're feeling pretty good at this point because it's just Cope that's going to make up their early game pressure, right? When you're looking at these lane matchups head to head, Blugan should have pressure over Spreen inside of the solo lane. That's generally going to be a wash. Kill pressure, the duo obviously going to favor the team that has not only healing but an assassin inside the lane. But so far, Cope, through just raw sheer willpower, has been able to establish early game dominance for his team. And that's why I said jungle gap a little bit earlier. I was being glib, but it's real. Like, Cope's just doing it.
Just doing it. I mean, 3-1 speaks for itself. Hercules has been more proactive. I mean, even look at them now. They're going for an invade. Who is that? Heed's on the other side of the tower, and they are just playing aggressively on that side of the map. In fact, they're even foregoing the blue buff. This is going to get interesting real quickly. Heed blinks forward, misses everything, and Baskin's going to be able to walk away just fine. Well, it does eat a little bit of damage on the tail end. Now Gino seems to be surrounded. Meerkat joins the fray. Blugan looking for some damage, but Blugan's the one who's getting turned around on Spreen. Just does it to him there in the mid lane, kills him off, gets a 5th kill for his team, and now the continuation of the fight. Snoopy solos out Spreen, or finds Spreen on the back line. With this rotation, it could be big. He needs the help from Baskin. Cope has no mana to work with. A couple of autos is all it will take, and they will be able to find the kill. Now the isolation onto Sybil's going to be good. What was a 6-1 lead leaves 6-4 as they get a good turnaround.
And now Heed, completely out of mana, is able to invade the blue buff, but he's got Baskin on his back, and Baskin has the ultimate available. Maybe a slight rotation could be enough to finish off this kill. I don't think Baskin lets this one go.
I mean, he's chasing him. He's going to keep going. He's got no mana. You've got no sash. It seems like that might be all she wrote. Ring toss here. Going to be important to help either clear the camp or maybe get some damage done. He's going to take the blue buff, miss the sash one more time, just back on away.
I don't think Baskin's hit a sash yet. Thank God for Snoopy if you're a Hoofs fan, right? Like, leaves his lane, rotates out, says this is what assassins are supposed to be able to do, finds himself a triple kill for his effort. But I got to talk about it, man. I got to talk about Blugan. He watched himself die. Like, he legitimately just let Spreen auto-attack him to death. You can't be doing that, especially considering how much early game pressure Raijins generally have. He could have just Thunder Crashed away if he didn't think he was going to win the fight, but instead just dies to like 12 auto-attacks. Rough stuff.
He did Thunder Crash away.
Yeah, to die to a dot.
Right at the very, very end where it didn't matter if you could get away anymore. Unfortunate timing for Blugan. 0-2 in mid. But he did get some good damage. Set up Snoopy to kill off Spreen. And that's how I'm going to frame it, so that they feel better about it.
Fair enough.
And Snoopy, unfortunately, or not Snoopy, Blugan. Nope, even worse. Baskin, different B name. Another assassin finally got there. The Naja, as you had highlighted, maybe not finding as many sashes. Still able to chase a good amount. Now looking to be proactive around the red buff. Gino goes in, Cope gets slowed down, but Gino gets stunned away. Ring toss misses, and Gino's going to have to heal and walk out of here, but they've got Blugan. Soon enough, Snoopy as well, potentially joining the fight. Sybil rotates over to the left, and up into the sky is gone Naja. Cope gets brought back down. The Taiko drums just wide, but the last one's going to be able to connect. Cope goes down, and Baskin just trying to stay alive and get out of here. Spreen is transformed into the set and is going to be able to find the kill necessary, but Spreen has eaten a lot of damage in the process. No one's going to be able to loop around and kill off the mid laner this time.
Yeah, Snoopy too low HP to be allowed to rotate into this fight, so the Sharks take advantage and keep forcing the engagement, able to turn a 1-for-0 into a 1-for-1 jungle trade. But if Cope's fallen down, you're probably feeling pretty good about it on the side of the Hoofs. Cope has been the sole aggressor of the Tiburones at this point, and despite all of that being 3-3-3 up against Baskin's 1-2, somehow Baskin looking at a level lead right now.
It's, you know what? You highlighted it earlier, but Baskin's just been chilling in the jungle and farming. Spreen's been trying to chill in mid lane. Might not be the right call. There's a good shield from Geb. And that should be able to get him out of there. That was, and felt like should have been, a death. Spreen still flirting with danger here as they hang around, but they've got Sybil nearby and don't seem too worried about it. Everybody on the Herculean Hoofs are going to back off. And fortunately for them, they're not going to get another kill.
Maybe Blugan's Raiju was down until after he'd used every other ability, but I think had he had Raiju up and he used it first, it's probably a dead the Morgan. There's no way he escapes out of there. That dot damage would have been enough. We'll see if Meerkat's as lucky.
Yeah, Cope wants to get that proactive entitlement back. Gets a really good knock-up on Meerkat. No Sentinel Zeus available. And that's just what it's like to get, well, bullied, realistically. That is Hercules to a T. And they control that left side of the jungle now. You can see 4 members of the Tiburones over here looking for whatever they can find. Greater Scorpion seems to be the option. Snoopy going for a one-on-one. Uller doing a little too much damage, but he's lost all his cooldowns. Now it's just Snoopy chasing him down. Snoopy getting the kill. Gino showing up for the heal as well at the very end of it, just to make sure things continue going well for his teammate.
I wonder had Renjaru just decided to auto-attack back, maybe he's able to turn around that engagement. It seemed like only 3 autos is what stood between Snoopy and a coffin at that point, but Snoopy just allowed to ult in aggressively and say, hey, fight back, and Renjaru did not.
Jeez Louise, Blugan just can't be afforded time right now. Taken down before anybody can reply. Cope went up into the air and has been taken down just so slightly.
Ooh, nice.
And Gino gets credit for the kill. A great pull onto Sybil, pulls him right back into danger, and they're able to pick up another kill. And that's a 2-for-1 in mid, make it 3-for-1 in counting Renjaru. Seems to be an easy Gold Fury goal.
Yeah, all 4 of them 100% HP and healing at this point. The only ones in range to put up any sort of defense is Spreen right now, and I don't think he wants to walk up despite having the Changeling ultimate available to him. So the Herculean Hoofs able to turn a pick onto Blugan into a triple pick for themselves and have nearly evened up the kill count. 12 minutes in, 17 kills, by the way. North American SCC. An absolute treat. But still, 1,000 gold in favor of the Sharks.
Well, Baskin now getting to feel a little bit of what Spreen has to offer. Jeez, man, give him some time. Let him react. Let him do something. He didn't get to play the game in that engagement. Baskin is just dead, and that's the only way to look at it. Good shield from Geb is going to keep Spreen nice and healthy after those Taiko drums. And Blugan's not able to avenge his fallen teammate. In fact, the Renjaru right here, they're looking for some burst. They don't have the stun set up just yet. And instead, it's looking like a tier 1 tower in mid getting stripped away thanks to the Hunter.
Hey, Siri, remind me to play some Hercules jungle later, because it's looking really good right now. Not just when Cope's piloting, but also Spreen finds himself a great transformation target. And now the Sharks, having stripped away the tier 1 tower in mid from the Hoofs, have also created some space to head over towards the Pyromancer. So despite that gold tree in the last couple of fights, going the way of the Hoofs. This might be one of the larger gold gaps we've seen so far. 2,000 in favor of the Order team at this point. But Gold Fury down, mid-tier 1 down, Pyromancer removed as well. There's not many neutral objectives. There's not many places for the Sharks to go and try and utilize and leverage this lead for a little bit. The Hoofs, I think, by stripping that Gold Fury, have effectively extended this game yet again and just kind of bought themselves some time to free farm.
Which is something that, well, maybe not the free farm, although free farm is always going to be nice. Well, they need to figure out how they're going to transition to this late game. Right now, you've got an 0-4 solo laner. Sorry, Meerkat. You just haven't been able to find those kills. He's 3 assists, where Snoopy's 5-0-2 is definitely helping herald this team throughout what has been an otherwise rough game. Herculean Hoofs getting their feet under them, though, and Tiburones not necessarily slowing down. I don't know how to describe this. Just still making the same decisions they've been making the whole time. They're still taking aggressive plays, still looking for Hercules stuns. There's just slightly more time between the two of them. That blink is available for Cope. It's going to be Sybil that goes forward. Cataclysm gets used. Beads from Blugan get burned. And that just seems like it's going to be a heyday for Cope the minute he decides to get over here. Misses the stun onto Gino, though. Cope just a little wide screen. Gets aggressive, transforms into Snoopy. Can't beat the real deal, but still gets a kill onto the other mid lane.
Meanwhile, Gino in the back able to use his ultimate to isolate too as Baskin tries to fight Cope in a 1v1.
Ooh, up into the sky with Cope. You're not doing a whole lot of damage,
Succeed.
but it is just enough to be able to get the kill. Baskin's incredibly low, and Heed's going to be able to follow that up. 2 for 2. Jungle and mid for jungle and mid, but Heed is looking for a little bit more. Gino up into the air. Gino comes right back down. Uses the beads, and now Snoopy getting aggressive, looking for the turn and burn. Ranjaru gets a good stun. Meerkat trying to chase him down and kill off this Uller. He just needs a few more hits, but he is good enough to get out of here alive. Heed has been doing a great job zoning Snoopy, and an equal part to Ranjaru has to fall back onto the tier 2 tower in mid. Herculean Hoofs still want more, but I don't know that they have the follow-up. They're still going for it, though, Mifflin.
Yeah, Meerkat's doing as much damage as he can as Heed does a little bit of a toxic standstill, stares him down and says, hey, I've got a 2-level lead and you don't deal a ton of damage right now. And Meerkat says, oh, word? Turns on his heel and walks away this time. But yet again, I mean, we've been saying it for 15 minutes. If you're a Hoofs fan, go ahead and send your love mail to Snoopy. The dual lane, in particular, Hoofs, is really the one shining silver lining here for him combined. 7-0-10 for the dual lane. And the rest of the team, I'm not going to do it to them. I'm not going to list out. It's 3-12. They're 3-12.
They're 3-12.
They're 3-12.
But you know what? 2-0, 2 goose eggs for the dual lane, like you'd said. And that makes me feel better. I'm going to leave it on the positive note. Baskin, let's make that 13 other way. Number
one.
up. Yeah. It's not exactly this position you want to be in. Which is to say, he was comfortably in his own jungle. The Tiburones just are not letting them have that breathing room. Losing that tier 1 in mid has definitely caused some trouble. Blugan not allowed to do anything. And unfortunately, even with a Thunder Crash, you're not going to escape that one. Cope gets another kill onto the mid laner, and that's a 2-for-none trade. Tiburones starting to run away.
Yeah, double driving strike into double the Morrigan stun. Probably going to start the most of your fights pretty well there, as Heed is actually between the tier 2 and Phoenix right now. We're 16 minutes in the game, 24 kills. By the way, Ranjaru going to try his best to strip away this tower, and no one from the Hoofs can step up because the Sharks have set up a defensive line on their side of the jungle, at least able to strip away this purple buff. Oni Fury going to be spawning up very shortly as well. The Sharks are in great position to push their lead even further.
Yeah, Ranjaru, I mean, at this point in the pocket, he's got 3 big bodies in front of him, and he's just fine. Meerkat, it's a little more than what we could say for you. That Sentinel of Zeus necessary to get out of there. Keeps the Thorns, but much needed disengage from the Herculean Hoofs already out of there, but now we've got Gino and Snoopy coming in. Look, this has been the saving grace. Let's see if they can do anything. Gino probably going to go down for their first death. A 4-man knockup from Gino, but it is surrounded by 5 members of the Tiburones. And unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get out of there. Perfect game ended for Gino. Snoopy maintains their life, but we'll see if that lasts much longer with the way Heed's playing.
Yeah, Heed playing goaltender as the Oni Fury burns down quickly. Nobody from the Hoofs in range to defend. This one should be free, and it is. The Sharks pick up the Oni Fury, but the Hoofs should be able to maintain the rest of their lives. And I can only imagine what Gino's comms are sounding like right now. Probably walking in, presses tab, sees he's 2 levels up, probably thinking he's unkillable. And he's like, wait, why are they all fed? Why is literally everybody else at the Sharks fed? The Herculean Hoofs now have a very tall task ahead of them. 4,000 gold in the hole.
Not an easy number to overcome, but, 18 minutes in, that actually still stands. Not an easy number to overcome. but still some work cut out for them. A lot of gold caches, he once called them, here on the map in the form of towers. At least some places you can strip away some gold. Pyromancer's available.
Oh boy.
And that gives them a little bit of an opportunity. You can see 5 members, the Herculean Hoofs, on this right-hand side of the jungle, and looking to take control of the Fire Giant pit. And this is either going to be a clean engage. They've grabbed Sybil, they pulled him in, they've got the Keb isolated, but good Cataclysm is going to find the retaliation. Enough stuns to get them out of there. Now Baskin is just gunned! Rinjaru does all the damage necessary and hasn't been touched once in the fight. Now getting aggressive, Snoopy forced to teleport temptingly out of there, but right into a stun waiting from Spreen, and the follow-up damage from the Uller is going to be there. Blugan, low, Blugan gone, and now it's just looking to be a checkbox on their list. Geno's one more, and Meerkat, last man standing, probably going to make it out of here because the team stopped caring. They're going to get a Fire Giant.
Yeah, they're like, it's just Meerkat. Let's go ahead and let this one roll away while we take the biggest neutral objective on the map. The Herculean Hoofs, they start off that fight well mechanically. Like, they all landed their abilities. Unfortunately, they landed them all onto Sybil, who's playing Geb. They just hand him a triple Cataclysm, which was immuned out, at least by Blugan, thanks to the Tycho drums, but you're still taking that damage. You're still using all those cooldowns on the support of the Tiburones, and he just drops Stone Shield and walks away. Says, all right, well, good damage output. What do you got left for the rest of my boys as they flood in and immediately wash them inside of a jungle fight? The Sharks now with Fire Giant on 5. I mean, the map is theirs.
What was a very, very heavy-handed duo lane from the Herculean Hoofs has not been able to get as much done in the last couple of minutes. A lot of control from the Tiburones. I think admittedly recognizing where their pressure has been. They focused Snoopy out as hard as they could and isolated him very well. And now they're set up to go and knock down what are the last 3 remaining towers, maybe get a Phoenix. They still have plenty of time on this Fire Giant, 3 minutes, just a little over. As they reset for themselves, get to finish up items, grab buffs, wards.
Ooh, whiff.
Maybe find Baskin here. Cope just barely shy of being able to find some lockdown, and Baskin forced to use their ult to disengage. Keeps things a little more interesting. I'd be surprised if the Herculean Hoofs try to defend a tier 2.
No, I don't think they've got that opportunity ahead of them, especially considering Baskin's life might be forfeit here. No ultimate available to him, and good CC lockdown.
Yeah, that's
oh, nice.
Unfortunate. Well, got a good sash. Hey, we hit the sash. That's
Woo!
what matters. We're adding that one to the ticker. Unfortunately, we haven't seen as many of those as we had hoped early on. Rinjaru gonna need an unnecessary shot from the Phoenix. Doesn't seem like it's gonna matter. He's in the backline on Blugan, and there's a boulder just to find the damage. Blugan is gone before he knows what's happening. Now the Tiburones are running into the Titan room and then backing off, playing this one patiently. Still 2 tier 2s up. Not confident in their damage, even in a 3v5, to be able to take on entirely the Herculean Hoofs.
Well, give him a second.
But yeah, now they're going to re-engage.
All right, what about a 5v2?
Meerkat didn't get a chance to hit Thorns or the ult. Meerkat was just CC'd and dead. 5v2 Snoopy, let's see what you have to offer here. So far, it's not seeming like a lot. Titan at half health. Tiburones in control. And Snoopy getting zoned out by He. The damage is going to be done. Tiburones take game number 1.
Yeah, jungle chasm here in game 1. I mean, Cope literally walked in and just made it known that he wanted to win this one. What was it? First blood at like 30 seconds, second and third blood by the 3-minute mark, and he did not slow down at any point. And if Cope wasn't there, well, the Morgan was Cope. Yep. There were 2 Copes. There was too many Copes.
There were too many Copes. Too many Hercules. And they
Herculi.
Herculi turned. You know what? And it was a Herculean effort.
Well, no, Heracles is the plural of Hercules.
Is it?
No.
It's just the Greek version. Fun fact: Hercules the movie is not the proper name. It should be Heracles. Hercules is the Roman name. There you go. We're going to break this game down a little bit more right after this.
should be easy. Why should it not? When all you want is to be loved, is to be loved. But love ain't easy. You taught me that. I let you.
Gotta take off my jacket for this one. Oh, dude, this. No, I know he was supposed to take you out last weekend, but he got busy.
That's right. YouTube.com/ hold on, I gotta get the giggles out. YouTube.com/SmitePro. You can catch up on all sorts of content that we have going on there. If you missed it when we were hanging with the pros on this Monday, you can see a lot of Scarabs content that's going up. If you missed any of those days, I know the Dragons are up. We've done Hunters, I believe. We did Supports at one point. We've done most of the teams, at least the ones that are here. We've done the Kings, I think, right before that. So there's a lot of that. YouTube.com/SmitePro that you can go catch up on and watch whenever you're not sitting here and watching some very, very glorious Smite as the Tiburones take game number 1 there. And we had highlighted it, and I'm going to spoil it for you, not as much to break down as you would like. It was Cope, and then it was Spreen cosplaying as Cope.
Yeah, I mean, the Hercules was just putting out so much pressure throughout every single facet of this game. Yeah, Renjaro showed up eventually. Oh, man, give me this clip again. Watch him. Watch him get autoed, and then just die and leaps away. Could have leaped away at any point up until then, but waits until the dot damage was a little bit too much. And here's that player you were talking about, Spreen, actually popping off, doing his best Snoopy impression throughout this one. But where are my Cope clips, man? It was all Herc, right?
Early game, I will give him a lot of credit. Early game, which you were most worried about, was entirely Cope, as he was able to hear. He was 3-1 at one point, and then pushed to 3-3, and then I think ended at like 7-5 or something ridiculous like that. We also got Heed joining in a lot of these late game team fights where he was just controlling people. I mean, good luck getting past the King Arthur. When he decided you were out of it, which unfortunately for Blugan seemed to happen quite a few times in the late game fights.
Okay.
Yeah, he just didn't get the chance to exist in a lot of these. And of course, Renjaro did Uller things, and you know we can talk about that any time of the week. 7, 2, and 10 for Spreen, 7, 5, and 12 for Cope. Both of them impacting a ton of kills. Silent Killer Sybil, 2, 2, and 15, 17 total affected kills, and doing it exactly the way you want your support to, with Cataclysm, good shields, and helping out his carries. I mean, that was just as simple as it could get. You had 3 big bodies that controlled everything, and then 2 guys in the back that did the damage.
But the Hoofs, the adaptation is clear, right? Just have everyone besides the duo lane shift up their play style, maybe play a little bit more passively, and then the duo lane can reprise their performance, and maybe we've got a slightly more competitive game too. What are you laughing about?
That was the most polite way to say, all right, so the 3 of you shape up and play better. All right, like we highlighted you were 3 and 13. I'm being mean now.
And that was when there was like a 9-0 duo lane or something.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
They were doing real well on one side.
2 teams on the Hoofs, 3 teams in the game.
Unfortunate scenario for them. We'll see if they can shape it up on the other side.
Tighten up.
Tighten
Focus.
up. What is it? When you're, this is how you do yours.
No, that's Ron Jobert.
Oh, I thought that was. Oh yeah, that is Ron Jobert.
Yeah, I do it a lot because Ron Jobert's really funny, and I want to be him.
Ron Jobert is really funny. Tighten up.
Focus.
Focus.
That's probably what we should do, right? Odin bands. That's a good one. Ring of Spear is really good.
That's your focus. That's your tighten up. Yeah, Odin. Banned, Yamoja banned. Yep. Ring of Spears you had mentioned, really good. Odin's early game, really good. And Yamoja, she's got a lot going for her. She's got good lane clear and healing.
Yeah, bar none, still some of the best pressure
can stun
you can get from the Guardian.
What? Yeah.
Is that true?
Moonstrike can stun objectives.
I'm the analyst.
It's so, all right.
Do people do that? I don't think they're doing that.
I have seen it once. I've only seen it once, and it did save their life. It was really neat. But I will say, it is a. So here's Smite history for you. Way in the days of yore. Like, I'm talking.
Nuwa.
20, yes, actually.
Old Wa.
What is that? 2013, 2014? When was she released? I think 2013.
I think so.
She had an ability, and it did more damage. I think the closer to her it was, but it could stun towers.
Everything.
And it would everything. Yeah, but you would stun towers. You could walk in. Big solo laner, real fun times. That got taken out of the game, and then the kit you know now is there. But then they've kind of introduced some of those. Dharmic Pillars is very, very, similar to what, actually it's pretty much the same thing that what that new ult was. Different effects. It's got a slow
Is that what
and
new
prot
ult
shred.
was?
Yeah, remember she summoned the Pillars of Heaven? There were 4 of them. You could do the shake and bake with Fenrir, and you just slam them between the
Are you sure?
corner. Yeah.
I thought it. All right, so Sylvanas going to get locked in. Let's go ahead and do a ban roundup.
Get
Now
to
that
the
we've finished
current times.
Our history lesson here. Odin, Geb, and Kepri removed from the table by the Hoofs, and the Sharks going to go ahead and target out a little bit more of those standard bans that we've been used to, but all Guardians nonetheless. Terra, Artio, and Yamoja taken off the table. The Hoofs going to keep in line with their little bit slightly focus towards Sylvanas. They really like the lane pressure that he affords you, the healing, the protections, as well as that engage potential. And the Tiburones, kind of rightfully so, do not elect to pick up their Guardian inside of this slot, realizing that the Hoofs likely will not be taking anything else in their own right. So instead, the Morrigan and the Uller, it worked out for them last time. I'm not going to argue against it.
Yeah, these two did enough work that I think it is warranted going back to. Plus, they're both really good. But Geb has been banned this time alongside that Kepri, Terra, and the Artio. And so that does mean that they're going to have to go at least somewhere different for their supports. And we'll see if they decide to opt into that here, or if maybe they'll end up scooping up a jungle early on for Cope. As it's the Chernabog that gets locked in, something that Snoopy has been a big fan of in the past, so not too surprising there. Although, maybe just switching it up, I mean, still has a lot of rotationary prowess. We saw a lot of impact from Snoopy in the early game on that set. And they get the King Arthur this time to strip it away from Heed. Maybe be a bully of its own right this time for the Hoofs.
So now the Hoofs have a slightly less aggressive duo lane, replacing Set with Chernabog, but they will have a Hunter this time around. And if history's been any indicator, I would say that probably 98% of all Smite competitive games have a Hunter on your team composition. So the Hoofs a little bit more so in line with traditional Smite knowledge. Meanwhile, on the other end, with the Guardians taken off the table, with Geb no longer being an option, I think this is likely going to be a Circuit out of support, but does have some flex potential, could head over into the jungle if they so choose. We'll see how the Hoofs decide to put respect towards this pick as Vulcan
Did I miss a
is
memo?
banned out. Maybe the Sharks are calling a bluff and saying that Snoopy is going to play his pocket Vulcan ADC, and this is Chernabog mid?
No kidding, though. I loved watching Snoopy play that.
He's good at it.
He's really, unnecessarily good at playing Vulcan ADC. They also get rid of the soul. Even if it's shots towards Bluegan, I think it's interesting to say, more than anything, hey, play Raijin again. We dare you.
Or
that was
Tiamat.
fun. Or Tiamat, who's still available, and manages to slip through the Tsukiyomi, and that is Thanatos.
Uh-oh.
That's on that side. Hercules gets locked back in again.
Yikes.
Have to imagine that's going to be Cope, but Cope also likes a Wheelish and a lot of other assassins that are available, so, it's not done till it's done, but might be done in the jungle at least for what we expect.
Yeah, I mean, with Cope having a performance like he did in the last game,
He's
right?
gonna go back to it.
You might as well. I mean, Meerkat's got to be rolling his eyes. Like, if you can remember back to the early game of Game 1, past, the 50 kills that we got to witness, it was Meerkat going, 0-4 in lane in, 7 minutes or so, thanks to the early rotations of this Hercules. And I'd say that it's probably a little bit easier to kill a King Arthur than it is a Nike, as King Arthur does not have a leap. So, Hercules might have an easier time there. That said, is that a Baskin Loki, do we think?
Well, he is in the jungle, and unless they're swapping Bluegan over there, I have to imagine. We'll have to watch. The Najah left me wanting for more, so we'll watch what happens with this Loki. As Poseidon gets locked in. Look, I'm going to be 100%. Poseidon's just fun to play. I really like playing him. Because I get the Quacken. I use that pool Poseidon skin every
A
chance
weird
I
flex.
get. Yeah, I bought that.
I bought it too.
That's not hey, I'm an employee and I rubbed elbows with the right people. That's no, I spent money. Same thing with Archon Thanatos.
Yeah, here's the thing, chat. A lot of you guys will accuse us as hi-rez employees of getting free skins. I've been begging for Archon Thanatos for the 2 years that I've been here, and it is still not on my account.
$200 to get that when it came out.
That's a lot of money.
All of my birthday money, and then what I had saved up from after I bought a PC, and I was just I was playing Smite, and I was just
Need
slammed
Archon.
it. And you know what? I'm happy I did it.
I'm jealous, legitimately. I wish I did. So, now we get a good look at both of these compositions, top to bottom.
I'm starting to think about my financial choices. Hold on.
Early game aggression here from the Sharks, yet again, and on the other side, a little bit more standard composition.
We'll have to see if this Hercules is going to work. Presumably in the jungle one more time. Have to imagine it's not going to suffer too much. Heed switches over to the Cullen, and you were right on the money with the Circuit going into the duo lane. It's Snoopy playing Poseidon, though, and that is a switch up I will admit I wasn't prepared for. Seems like that Vulcan was right on the money for the Tiburones. We'll see what Snoopy has to offer, especially considering, I mean, you have to think about Poseidon's...
Did they roll swap?
What's it called? His passive and how that's going to play.
I think they roll swapped because that's a very standard build from Blugan for the Hunter roll, going towards what I can only imagine is likely an Ichabale inside of this first lot. You're not going to get a whole ton of value up against Spreen, but you would inside of the ADC 1v1, so maybe it is a roll swap here. We'll have to take a look.
Nah, that was this
Yeah,
positioning.
nope, you're right. No, yeah, okay. So it is Snoopy playing Poseidon inside the duo lane, and Blugan taking the Chernobog into mid with a very aggressive build this time around, but Blugan is a lot less safe on Chernobog. I'd say that having a standard leap would be a lot more effective for escaping Cope throughout the early, so we'll see him and how he elects to pilot this one.
And I'm now much more interested in this game, I'll admit, than I was a second ago.
Yeah,
Just
the
to
thought
see
quickens.
this, Snoopy, I got to see what he's going to be able to do. Set was such a huge reason they were able to come back last time. At least maintain a lot of that game. They got a Gold Fury that slowed things down. He was getting kills out the wazoo. And now we've got Snoopy in control, and Cope just looking for blood. Snoopy gets taunted in. Damage is dealt. Not enough to get a first blood just yet, but Sybil Rinjaru showing how deadly this duo combo can be.
Hey, luckily, the Hoofs have a very healthy duo lane thanks to the healing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Meerkat narrowly escapes with his life down to less than 100 HP inside of the solo 1v1 up against Heed. But as of right now, it seems like the Hoofs have done a good job of stabilizing themselves on the map. At this point, last game, the Sharks had already forced like 2 kills. So, much better look at the Waterside team exactly a minute and a half into this one.
Found first blood, and it was a trade out. I almost forgot about that. And Meerkat now is the one in... Well, no, he was the one in trouble last time. Still in trouble, as it turns out. But Heed's not getting aggressive on him. Too many minions to deal with that. This King Arthur seems okay for now. Still full mana. That's going to be all she wrote over in the solo lane. Same thing for mid, like you had highlighted. Cope slowing down a little bit. Old man Cope, look at this. He's limbering past the 2-minute mark without fighting. Whatever shall we do? Exactly the kind of pace you want to see. And now I've got to ask you a question.
Please.
I'm going to be honest. When I woke up this morning, I didn't think was going to happen. Might have to wait here. A good taunt on the Snoopy. Ooh, and manages to still find Gino. But the damage follow-up isn't there from Rinjaru. And
He's
it's
in trouble.
Matchup right now. Snoopy, the pull is good, and Rinjaru's the one who's in danger now. The damage is going to be good enough, but not able to find the kill onto Rinjaru. He gets out of there. Sybil looking to zone him out, gets a good taunt one more time, a double dash, and he's chasing him down, but not enough damage from either side. You had highlighted the healing earlier, and that's going to come in handy.
It is. I'd be so tilted if I were Sybil now. He's done the double taunt like 6 times as Cope forced to use the driving strike defensively here. If Meerkat's able to close gap, and he will not be, thanks to the defensive blink of Cope, could have been a first blood attempt, or maybe it's in the duo.
Oh, it's Sybil now aggressive, no mana to work with. Gino's
good
low.
beads.
Rinjaru has to beads, like you said, and get out of here. And again, they're just on the cusp of dead. Healing's helpful. Gino's still alive. Sybil and Rinjaru kind of begging for a little bit more. Not a lot of mana for Rinjaru to work with, or for Sybil to work with here. As they get aggressive, Heed gets the first blood finally on the other side. Meerkat's been flirting with death. Someone is going to die. And the duo lane stays just fine. Baskin getting aggressive, looking for a speed buff steal.
And he might be able to get it, but he's got a lot of people rotating in. Has to play safe here. Cope will not be able to pick up the speed buff, or he will. Defense successful in Baskin when you're out of position.
Yeah, this is going to be a good turnaround kill. Cope gets the speed,
Blugan
loses his life. Spreen is trying to fight, but you mentioned it. Blugan ults on in. Baskin falls. Spreen able to pick up that kill, and immediately turns and runs away, recognizing that he doesn't have the prowess to continue fighting up against Blugan. So it goes 2 for 1, Tiburones.
Yeah, Tiburones not only able to get the kill lead, but also able to secure their own speed buff. So Baskin going to fall slightly behind this time around, but maybe a moral victory, as Baskin's speed buff is going to be spawning up shortly, and he'll have it around his belt, whereas Cope just gets to walk around with like the normal movement speed. Unfortunate for the jungler.
Definitely not the position I think he had wished himself to be in.
Oh wait, he's got a level lead though.
But he's about to have, I was going to say, and his blink's 50 seconds away from being back. So maybe we'll get to see a little more of this Hercules. What was a very explosive 3 kills. And now I can return to the question I wanted to ask you, although I might have to wait a little bit. Cope, calm down. Okay, cool. Poseidon versus Uller.
Yeah.
This isn't a matchup that I think anyone is used to, except for maybe Snoopy. And it's not one that we've gotten to see in a while. Uller's top of the top in the list of carries right now. Poseidon hardly gets played
Yep.
Period.
Yeah, there's 2 guys that
So
have
what's
played it. Snoopy just likes unorthodox mage picks inside of the duo lane. I feel like he's forced to play Hunter by the teams that he joins, as he is able to strip away a blue buff just by showing up inside of this one. Look, it's not a great matchup for Poseidon, but if you are able to land the Kraken, and Renjaru does not have beads or Aegis available, you're probably winning the 1v1. Otherwise, I would say the win condition for Renjaru is much simpler. Land the Axe. He's going to have more opportunities to try and do it, so as of right now, I'm favoring the Wool.
Well, there's a purple buff steal, but now Snoopy's getting tossed back to the masses. The masses are only Renjaru gets knocked up immediately. And that damage onto Snoopy sticks, but there's not going to be enough of a rotation yet to change that around. Spreen in stealth, chasing down. Not able to find Bluegan. We'll have to fall back and just play patiently here. Really good invade. And the Herculean Hoofs get something out of this. It's still about 1,000 gold separating the 2 teams. Now Sybil's fishing for a little bit more. Not only their own purple buff, but maybe a kill as well. There's the Kraken for the disengaged Sybil. Eats a lot of that damage, but it's Cope.
Ooh,
the boulder
juke.
just a little wide, and now Renjaru jumps under the tower, eats the tower shots,
Ooh.
and a good pull from Gino. But no, the tower it's going on to Cope. Sybil is going to walk out of this one just fine. Oh, that is until Bluegan ults in, and now Bluegan's looking 3 people in front of him, 3 easy chase downs. He's just trying to figure out where to go. One more auto. It's going to be Gino stripping away Cope's life,
What's up?
and now Baskin making sure Renjaru sits down.
Yeah, the Sharks sticking around a little bit too long inside of this fight. You can't be diving a tier 1 tower for like 30 full seconds at the 6-minute mark, so it makes it pretty easy for everybody else to rotate in. Not just because Bluegan's got a global ultimate, but Baskin able to walk over in time to finish off that kill. And now the Herculean Hoofs sitting at 4 and 3 on the slash line, but still a slight gold lead over towards the Sharks. So I guess at this pace, being as even as it is at this point, you got to evaluate who's going to have a team fight advantage once this does break out into a 5 versus 5. And I think it's hard to say. Both these compositions a little bit unorthodox, but I'm probably favoring the Hoofs.
I do like Poseidon and Kraken just in general when it comes to team fights. Also, when you start to shake down what would then be that big steal. Heed's low. Heed's going to be able to walk out of this one. Now the re-engaged Sybil gets a good taunt, gets the ult as well. Gino's locked up, Gino's locked down, and they tie up the kills 4 for 4. Bet Cope is able to push Baskin to the wall, gets a good stun, and follows up with the boulder, gets the kill, and now leads for their team. 5 to 4. Tiburones able to finally start fighting back and get something going their way. In fact, they might go for even more. Bluegan, you're stuck in the wall, buddy, and you need to figure out your life. The taunt just wide there for Sybil. It's not going to matter, though, because Spreen is Spreen, and Spreen gets the kill with the help of Cope.
Yeah, so we've got equity in mid, or maybe as I say that, we see it kind of slip away. Spreen 1 level up over his opposition, 1 level inside of the jungle for the Sharks as well. 2 levels inside of the solo lane. Meerkat been struggling mightily so far inside of this set, and the Sharks now, it took them a little bit longer, but it's looking at a similar lead as we saw in Game 1, approaching the 2,000 to 3,000 gold mark as Renjaru 2 levels over Snoopy, actually, who's a level down on his support. No, takes over to 7. Okay. The XP is strange on the board. Team compositions are strange on the board, and as of right now, the gold lead being as it stands, I think the Sharks are in a position where they should likely be looking at this Greater Scorpion very shortly.
Weird to see. I mean, admittedly, when it first came out, we were used to like, okay, 10 to 12 minutes, that's when this Greater Scorpion's going to actually get looked at. North America, and admittedly everywhere, realistically, since then, tends to burn both of them before
They just
the
don't want them to
10-minute
be
mark.
there. They're just like, we don't need this mechanic. Let's just kill it now.
Who needs the gold fear, huh?
Yeah, let's just do it.
Get it whenever we need it. So both Scorpions still available. Oracle's going to be stripped away by the Herculean Hoofs right now. And there we go. Going for the Greater Scorpion immediately. That will spawn in that Gold Fury. Sybil is looking for something here. And Sybil's going to go right in onto Bluegan, tosses him back. Bluegan goes into the wall. Sybil still laying in wait for some of that damage. Finds a little bit of it as Bluegan dashes out of the wall. But there's not going to be enough follow-up or setup for the Tiburones to continue that fight. I say that, and then Baskin just gets caught out.
Whoa.
Spreen does a lot of damage in a little bit of time and forces out the ult from Baskin.
Yeah, Baskin able to barely maintain his life, but losing out on Assassinate is a poor trade here. With the Gold Fury spawned up, the Sharks should be able to head over and look towards it, but instead they're looking for some more fighting to be had. Tier 1 tower surrounded by 3 members of the Sharks. Sybil leading the charge, but decides better and immediately disengages himself. This time around, the Herculean Hoofs, they've just been playing defense this entire time.
And you know what? it's not necessarily led them to be too worse off, although that gold lead is starting to spiral a little more out of hand. 2,500 gold at any point in the game is not something you want to necessarily be looking up at. But the Tiburones here, 9 minutes, well, 10 minutes in, are in control. Good blink stun, lockdown, Blugan. He's dead, but the damage is good for the turnaround. Baskin's going to be able to kill Cope for the process. And now Spreen, cosplaying once again as the Hercules, is just going to log him down. 2 boulders in 1 fight. And it's going to be clean pickup. Gino's going to go down. But what a Kraken from Snoopy, able to get some really good damage for the turnaround. Spreen, though, goes invisible and is able to get out of here. He just straight up solos Meerkat on the other side of the map. And is able to help make this one a lot more favorable for the Tiburones.
Yeah, I'm glad you called it a solo kill because I was looking and I was like, wait, how did 4 of them die? Where did Meerkat come from?
I had to look to find, I was like, where the hell is Heed on this map right now?
In solo, tier 1 tower down. Blugan diving into the backline, trying to finish off Spreen. Dashes forward, gets stunned out, forced to use the beads, but is able to pick up that kill. We'll see if he's able to keep his life intact. In the meanwhile, Cope Baby on the chase.
Yeah, Cope. No ult, no blink. But he does have that knock-up cooldown. Blugan going to juke that out. The Whirlpool doing some damage. There's 3 people here. I don't think he was anticipating that part. Good healing onto Cope. Going to be able to walk them out of there. Ranjaro has no mana to work with, but it doesn't necessarily matter. You're 3-1-0, and you're feeling really confident about it.
So he makes his first rotation out of the solo lane, 2 levels up, has both relics available to him. Meanwhile, on the other end, Meerkat, level 10, is trying to finish off that second item, is very far behind at this point. So the Hoofs likely going to be playing without their solo laner until, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes when he catches up.
Soloed out twice, by the way, here.
That's too many times.
First blood, and then during that last engagement. So Cullen putting in the work here for Heed. And now we're going to get to see what that work looks like when it's on everybody else. Baskin catches him out in the jungle. And yeah, that doesn't seem like a fight Baskin wants to take. Transformations there for Heed. Baskin ults away out of there. No, he's going to go back in. He's engaging onto Baskin at his speed buff, still chasing him down. And he's looking for it. He gets the knock up in the stun. And he's going to chase him down and kill him. Turns around. Blugan, Meerkat, Gino, Snoopy. The crew shows up. The Kraken gets dropped. Heed has to go down here, and they're going to be able to find it. But not before he styles on him a little bit.
Yeah, he may not have made that a valuable trade for himself. He's worth a little bit more than what was a 2-3 Loki, now 2-4, and the slash line was a 3-0 Heed that falls down, so the bounty that he gives over to the enemy team is a little bit greater. That said, still looking at a 2-level lead, still able to slow down this Loki's farm, and Spreen.
Blugan, just look, I'm sorry, man. I don't know where you're going to go, but good luck.
To the sky!
And unfortunately for him, the sky...
It's too far.
It's not, yeah, not enough. He can't touch the sky, can't fly, none of the good stuff. He's going to get taken down. There's not much you can do as a Chernobog locked in the wall. And you had actually mentioned it that there were maybe some other hunters or mid laners that you would have liked to see with the disengage.
Oh, no.
And unfortunately, hey, guess what, Gino? You're now next on the CC train. Good beads, get you away. Boulder still connects. Cope's looking for the last hit. Sybil looking to isolate you. This is a gang. They are running around together in the jungle and doing drive-bys at this point. Hey, Baskin, I hope you liked being in the game again. Here's another boulder going your way. This one finally a little bit wide. Look in the background there. See what Ranjaru's starting to peek at. Not actually starting the Gold Fury as I had anticipated.
Meerkat's here.
Spreen de-transforms. Blugan backs off. Snoopy's here. Stun just wide from Cope. They're getting aggressive. Snoopy uses the Aegis. Is able to disengage. Meerkat's in the backline. You had highlighted the rotation, but now what can they do to try and turn this around? No mana. There's a Kraken. Does get a lot of damage onto Cope, and Cope's going to have to play this one carefully. Still is Hercules. Heals up and walks out.
This is just an arena match, man. 22 kills in 14 minutes. The Sharks up 14 more kills than there are minutes inside of this one, but are not quite able to secure the neutral objective. Instead, they had their eyes on the team fight the entire time. He'd finally trying to match that rotation of Meerkat towards mid, put some damage into Blugan, but that should spell the end of his aggression now that Gino has joined the fight. But yet again, gotta say it, man, the Sharks feel like they've got all the momentum going forward. The gold lead has been cut slightly by the Hoofs, who've been doing a good job farming on the map, but it still is 3,000 in favor of the Chaos team, both gold and experience.
And you know what? That's, I mean, you had mentioned that they didn't go for a neutral objective. That's without any neutral objective. I mean, like Totems of Ku,
they'll get one soon.
I guess technically exists that are going in their favor, and you've got that Draugr. That's not enough to make up for that amount of gold. So the Tiburones are in a firm amount of control. We'll see if they can continue doing that. As I anticipate, sometime soon, someone's got to look towards that Gold Fury. Last time we started talking about anything in that pit, they did it within the next few minutes. So we'll have to think it's here. Blugan.
Oh, my.
Blugan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just don't get a chance. He just hasn't gotten the opportunity. The auto follow-up should be there. No, it's going to be Baskin, who actually peels for him.
Aegis.
And a great Aegis makes sure that Spreen doesn't get the kill with the boulder. But Spreen's going to follow it up. It's a 2-for-1, though. A great pickup from the Herculean Hoofs to be able to isolate him. And now Cope, isolated, locked down. Meerkat stops them from rotating in. And that's a big pickup for the Herculean Hoofs.
Yeah, the Sharks playing with maybe a little bit too much confidence, smelling blood inside the water, and now Cope is surrounded by 3. Could be in some trouble here.
Now, this is a dangerous position to be in. The CC is good. The damage is just better at this point. 3 for 1 trade. Herculean Hoofs make it to a point where they can feel confident. Now, Heed comes in marching 1 by 1, but what can you do with a little bit of help? The damage seems to be good from Baskin, but you've got good CC. Renjaru joins the fray, and he's going to be able to help get you a little bit of a fight, but it's not enough. Snoopy helps burn down Heed, and ultimately that trades out to be a 4-for-2. Sybil's return to the fight. There's still an advantage for the Herculean Hoofs, but when, oh no, Kraken's still available. They might be able to go for an objective or some big turnaround here. They turn in. Blugan ults into the fight as well. 4v2 in mid lane. Renjaru forced to run away. Damage not quite good enough from the Aegis, or sorry, from the Kraken. Without either of his relics, Renjaru still maintains his life.
Spreen able to rejoin the fight, but still does not have Changeling available to him as Gino not quite able to find that pull onto Sybil, so that should spell the end of this engagement. But I've said that before, and we're at 28 kills at 16 minutes, so I don't know why I would think that these fights would slow down at any point. But still, 16 minutes in, neither team has pulled the Gold Fury. Both squads have all 5 members available, so this could be the first tried and true team fight 5-on-5 engagement for a neutral objective.
Sybil gets a little bit of damage there onto Meerkat, tosses Blugan back, but Blugan with a couple of dashes gets out of there. Sybil's incredibly low, and they're looking for the chase down. Meerkat following through, and Meerkat's going to be able to find that kill, but you'll lose Blugan in the process. They are just bullying the mid laner at 3 and 6. Now Snoopy seems to be the target. Spreen tries to get the damage down. Snoopy has no mana, but Snoopy's going to make it out of here alive for now. Baskin gets a kill onto Renjaru. The Hunter is gone, and so is Spreen, and now the follow-through is going to be great. This Loki loses his life for it, but is more than happy to be able to pick up 2 in the process. Cope and he
good pull
up against the world, and seems like the world is running. Meerkat has no mana to work with, and they're going to dive the tier 2 tower. The stun is good. The damage is there, but Meerkat's just inkling away. Cope finally able to pick it up, and will walk out of the tower. Heat as well. But Cope's in an odd spot. Snoopy's going to start fighting him. Cope goes under the tier 2 for whatever reason. Snoopy, yeah, he picks up that kill pretty easily. And the Tiburones, what a wild turnaround.
Look,
I don't know who won that fight.
There's too many kills,
Nobody?
man. What was that, like a 6 for 7? Like, I don't think I've seen that in Smite too often. The charts don't tell lies, though, and the Herculean Hoofs are able to pull themselves a little bit more so towards even, but still slightly behind. Gold and experience still favoring the Chaos team at this point, or maybe not. 19 experience in favor of the Herculean Hooves. That's a big swing, but still no neutral objectives for either squad. Normally, I'd break down a team fight, but that team fight was legitimately 4 minutes long. There was like 3 ultimate ability rotations. It's hard to remember everything that happened. All you got to know is if the Hoofs are able to control Cope and Spreen, they're probably winning the fight. The same can be said for the Sharks if they're able to close gap onto either Snoopy or Baskin. And it seems like, even though I did say that, both Snoopy and Baskin die inside that fight, as does Cope and Spreen, but it's still hard to say which one comes out ahead. Gold Fury, though.
Hey, finally an objective. Kraken used aside the objective, but Sybil does fall because of it. He's taking a lot of damage in the process. Forced to fall back and sitting at half health. Meerkat's going to keep chasing him down. Solo kills don't matter anymore as he is caught up and is chasing you down. Admittedly, he's still 2 levels down. Doesn't seem to be showing it this time around. Gold Fury was at half health, leashed, and now re-picked up by the Herculean Hoofs.
Sybil dead for 20 seconds. The Hoofs have a good bit of power play working for him, but the Sharks were able to steal this one away. Was that hail of arrows? And it was.
Renjaru does all the work and more for that necessary, and now Meerkat forced to fall away. Baskin's one hit. Baskin's dead, but you lose Spreen in the process. 1 for 1 in this engagement now. Sybil still looking at the respawn timer, just comes back, but they pick up Snoopy. They get the kill they need. Blugan doing a lot of damage. Meerkat trying to control it. Cope is locked down and isolated. Renjaru's here and alone, and Renjaru's trying to get anything done at this point. Maybe just try to stay alive. The damage turnaround is good, but there's 3 members. What a great stun.
Aegis.
Good Aegis to keep him alive, and now you've got your support. Your support's at least going to be able to help trade away 1, maybe not. Blugan stays alive, and they're going to have to walk away from this. Sybil is the last man standing, and what another ridiculous fight.
2 and Gold Fury for 4. and the Sharks nursing their 1,000 gold lead still, maybe closer to 2,000 at this point, as we're looking at 42 kills, 19 minutes into this one. This has been a highly back and forth game. Going to get a look back at how this gold free goes down, and it simply was just hail of arrows able to secure it away. Renjaru sticks around inside of the team fight and later does lose his life, but I'd argue he did enough just by taking the objective.
And is doing what I would argue are playing the best Uller skin, or at least my favorite Uller skin, the zombie hunter one.
Yeah, he's got like
Survivals.
fire axes. It's actually really jarring to see like a tool in the game of Smite that like you would see at like a Dick's Sporting Goods or something, you know, like just a standard fire
You could
axe.
very easily go shopping. Admittedly, it'd be
Walmart
expensive,
has
but you
that
could
bow.
you could go get this outfit pretty quickly here, especially in the South. Look, you need camo; it's everywhere. But
Yep.
he's going to be running around. Flaming arrows, don't recommend running around with him the way that Uller is here, but he's going to be just
How's
fine.
he keep him on fire for so long, man?
Oh, man. I don't know.
You know,
Probably
cloth,
had it-
cloth and some oil
Yeah.
on the end of
But-
his stick here.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Cool.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Really?
Well, I did think lantern oil, but I couldn't think about why that was like a phrase. I've been reading too much medieval stuff, so I didn't know if that was a thing we had anymore. Hey, Meerkat, you're stuck between 3, or 3 stuck around you. We're going to see, hey, well, let's make it 4. And if Cope
Why
gets
is he
here in
still
time, let's
alive?
make it 5. He is living, and he gets a lot of return damage. Look at Sybil and Renjaru. They are low, but it's not low enough. They blow up Blugan like it's nothing. Gino, you're now isolated. Let's go marching in 1 by 1 to the fight and help the Tiburones pick this up.
3.
Now the chase down's going to be good. A triple kill for Spreen. Baskin's low. Spreen's going to peel away. Baskin looks like he might just be out of here. Snoopy, though,
think
is a
he's dead.
different story. The axe just wide. The taunt does connect, and that's going to spell doom and gloom for the Herculean Hoofs. What was 21 to 21? It's a
1v1.
4 clean, 5 clean sweep, full-on deicide, and the Tiburones pick up a team fight.
So the Sharks now, with nobody left to kill on the side of the Hoops, are forced to back up and go for the neutral objective. Fire Giant should be absolutely free at this point. Wouldn't put it past the Sharks at this point.
This
to
is like
lose
the
some
equivalent in
lives.
my mind of like you beat up everybody in the bar and now you're trying to fight the bouncer.
And they got it. The bouncer's dead.
Yeah,
and,
they had 5 people.
yeah, now the bouncer's little brother is being accosted. Pyromancer getting taken down this time around, and the Sharks net themselves 6,000 gold in the lead. Fire Giant on 5 members, and there's still 4 gold caches left on the map. I'm talking about the towers of the Herculean Hoofs to be picked up and push this lead even further for the Chaos team. I wouldn't say they really need to get a Phoenix at this point to find full value from this Fire Giant. I'm sure they'll love to do so, but maybe we just see them utilize this additional power, HP5 and MP5 for, I don't know, some more fights. I want to see 100 kills this game. That's my call.
We are... No,
halfway
we're
there.
close. I was going to say we're close to 50. I was like, we're not far from it, and then I had to redo math because I did it poorly the first time, just straight up. We're almost at 50 kills this game, currently sitting at, what is that, 47?
Something like
so
that.
that is a 3-kill swing. That's definitely going to happen. No matter what, we're getting 50. What was the 144? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I haven't.
The highest kill game was 144?
Yeah, and that's this is going to blow your mind. SBL history.
No shot.
Yeah, 144 kills, 76 to 68.
Who was that?
It was Soar versus Enemy.
What year? Was that season
It
2?
was season 3.
It's a good
Fall
year.
split. Soar Gaming won that game with the 9 more kills, 8 more kills that they were able to pick up. We'll see if they can even get close to that. Probably not. They need 50 more on each side to try and make this look anywhere near similar. Gino goes down. We do get 1 step closer to the 50-kill mark. Blugan, he has just been bullied. 5 and 7, got a lot of return damage, but Cope is going deep, throws the boulder wide, and isn't going to be able to convert the kill onto Blugan, but his team converts the Phoenix up into the sky and taken down like it's nothing. The combo damage gets rid of Cope like it's nothing. Blugan heals, Blugan ults, Blugan's in, and the damage is starting to turn around. Heed forced to dash away, Sybil low as well. Spreen uses that stealth to get on out of here. They lose 1, they get the Phoenix, and they get out.
Meerkat uses the Omni Slash and unfortunately makes Snoopy miss his own Kraken, but at the end of the day, it still was able to pick up Cope. Meerkat, though,
Oh my
a little
God.
over-aggressive. Thought you were tanky? Not that tanky.
Yeah, not enough as it turns out. Blugan, Aegis, good enough for a little bit. It's going to be enough to save their lives a little bit longer. Comes out of the walls, dead. Renjaru gets a triple kill. All 3 of those that are dead are gone now. He's looking for the 4th. He's going to be able to find it. Renjaru,
Penta?
chase forward. Look, there's Gino. You
Chase
got to
him.
go under the Phoenix
Get in there.
Forward. You got to do something.
He
the
tank
pull
it.
is a little wide, and his team isn't going to supply him the support he needs Rinjaru, you need people around you that lift you up way better than what you got right now.
Man, he's full HP, full tank, has Fire Giant, wouldn't tank it for the Penta attempt, man. That is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we do cross the 50 kill threshold this time around, now at 54 kills on the map, 24 minutes into this one, and Herculean Hoofs, it was a late back from Baskin, where he was able to strip away a tier 2 tower on the right-hand side from the Sharks, but the fight goes the way of the Sharks pretty handily. Left side, Phoenix goes down, tier 2 in left and mid as well, and the gold lead has now ballooned itself up to 9,000, and we still got a little bit of time to play with this Fire Giant. I don't think this right tier 2 tower is long for this world.
You know, if you covered up all the KDAs and the kill counter and just, like, looked at the state of the game,
yep.
this is not ridiculously.
Game.
It's not ridiculously outlandish, right? Compared to what you're used to seeing. Like
cover up the gold, the kills.
The team with fire. Well, no, like even if you keep the gold, not saying dead even. I'm saying like what we have seen in Smite. 25 minutes in, a team with Fire Giant being up 9k gold in this map state is not that ridiculous. It is strictly the amount of kills that have happened that make this game as silly as it has been.
Yeah, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
I'll meet you there. That's about right. The map state.
We have ended up in the
bad.
same spot as most games, is what I think I'm trying to hammer.
Yeah, we took a roundabout path, but eventually we did get there. Left side Phoenix is the really only thing separating these two teams insofar as map state at this point. So those fire minion waves furthest from the Fire Giant are going to make it hard for the Hoofs to put any form of contention on the neutral objective.
A Meerkat.
I think he's dead.
We saw what happened last time you were isolated, just between 4. Now there's 5. And there's not enough return damage in the world to make that one feel as worthwhile. Bluegin's up in the air. Baskin's going in here? Okay, Baskin, I don't know what you're going to try to do here. Good Aegis keeps you alive a little bit longer, but a little bit is maybe even doing that justice for the amount of time that it took. Hey, guess what? Blugin, you're also dead. That's tic-tac-toe. 3 in a row for the Tiburones. They knock down that tier 2 on right, and they're going to run right into the Phoenix. Gino, Snoopy, duo lane, who carried all in game number 1, trying to do their best here. Snoopy's not going to be able to do too much. The Kraken doesn't get enough return damage, and Rinjaru gets that kill. Gino versus the world. As the Titan goes down, the Tiburones find themselves a 2-0.
Yeah, 58 kills. Can we get 59 on the board? Not Gino. Able to maintain himself inside the base. Not quite able to pull Sybil in, and he will maintain his life. So we'll be 58 to end this one with a 13,000, maybe closer to 14,000 gold lead in favor of the Sharks, who legitimately just roll over the Hoofs in the last minute or so of this one.
Yeah, I was going like back and forth. There was this very strict portion. Well, let me rephrase that. There was a spot where the Herculean Hoofs started getting a lot of kills and things felt like it was going to be good for them. And then it stopped pretty abruptly as well. We're going to break that down, if we can, right after this.
Love should be easy. Why should it not? When all you want is to be loved, is to be loved. But love ain't easy. You taught me that. I let you in, now you want out, now you want out. I don't understand why you hurt me. I don't understand why you wanna let me down. Can't understand. Was it all worth it? You play me good just for a rush, just for a rush. So now I wrote a song about us, with tears running down my face. Now I wrote a song about us. Just
All right, and welcome back to a Tiburones victory. We're having a little bit of fun here. It's hard to tell. Like, you see the camera, and we're like just sitting at the desk. Miff and I we're having.
We were having a freestyle rap battle. That was what was happening.
One of us was definitely doing freestyle rap. The other one was just laughing very hard, and that one was me. We were also doing Godline quotes, if you were wondering what got us in this mood.
Erlong Shen.
You were doing, like, get off of them.
Get off of them.
Yeah, there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's wholesale stolen from Finch, though.
You add a little bit of bass and then, like, put Kepri in there, and I don't know the difference.
I've got an arrow with your name on it.
Tiburones win
See?
2-0
Moron.
here over the Herculean Hoofs. And this one was explosive. That's how I'm going to describe it.
Sure.
There were a lot of kills this game. I don't even know which players to highlight, which is good news, because that's Mifflin's job.
Hey, here's the thing about how production could not go wrong, because every single one of
Everybody
these
got
players had plenty of
kills.
highlight plays. But yeah, I think starting with Scream might be one of the best start. Look, man.
Ranjaro got a quadra kill in there, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get the quadra kill too. It's hard to break down a game like this because it legitimately was arena. How do you break down an arena game? This team fought better.
Ticket counter.
Ticket counter generally is that, but we don't have that luxury here in Conquest. Instead, you got to break down who was pulling ahead on the neutral objectives. I think there was 3 Gold Fury this game and like 1 Fire Giant, and that was it before the Titan fell. Something like that. I don't know. Get off of them.
There you go. The roll forward here from Ranjaro. I believe this is said quadra kill that was picked up. Should have been a Penta, or at least should have been an attempted Penta. No, they didn't want to chase under the Phoenix.
Bro, he could have tanked
yeah, he
this.
could have tanked it a little bit. They got the damage done. They did what they needed to here. And again, like you had
he
said,
taunted.
pretty much everybody got a highlight play at some point. Maybe the KDAs actually do kind of reflect that a little bit. 11, 5, and 16 there for Spreen. 10, 3, and 11 for Ranjaro. But I want to give another shout out. Not only 6, 3, and 15 for Heed, but 1, 5, and 22 there for Sybil as they pick that up. No triple doubles, which is something I was hoping to see here. 20,000, 24,000, and
Pretty low
26,000 damage. Well, it's mainly because
Considering.
early on they were just like most of those kills happened before they're doing massive damage.
Yeah, before anyone had 500 health to their name, people were dying like
Yeah.
6 times. That makes sense.
It was an experience, to say the least. But this does create an interesting scenario. Now, I believe the Herculean Hoofs can still hold on to their second place, depending on how this next set goes. I think if Sturdy Artisans win, they still hold second. If Sleekness wins, it depends on plus minus, which I do believe they've just gone down by 2. Sleekness would have to win, I think, 2-0 in order to make this a tie game. Then it goes to head-to-head. And then Herculean Hoofs potentially fall down to 3. There's a lot of ifs there. And, of course, most of that is realistically only going to matter at the end of the day after we see this next set, because you'll never guess what comes up next. Yes,
Ooh.
the one that's very
What?
important to what I am talking about. Sleekness and Sturdy Artisans playing up against each other. Depending on who wins this, can actually help determine Herculean Hoofs and where they are in the standings after that 2-0. But it's going to require a pretty big win from either of these teams. I'm sure you're excited for it, Mifflin. I'm excited to see what these teams are going to be able to do and see what we have shaken out for us. Again, as long as you're in the top 3, you're not sweating it too poorly. You're still going to be able to make it to the circuit playoffs. So the Herculean Hoofs have at least sealed their deal there. Now it's all up to seeding, and it's all out of their hands. We're going to get into that game right after this.